6 communication mistakes couples make in arguments and how to fix them. Avoid these communication mistakes like the plague. Learning how to improve communication skills for couples can be tough, especially if you're having marriage or relationship problems. Whether you're arguing or feeling distant from your partner, effective communication can help. Arguments are a natural part of marriage. They are necessary to push one another, to settle disagreements, to make feelings known, and arrive at the best solutions. But, of course, not all argument tactics are created equal. When spats are recurring, explosive, frequent, or never move on to solving a real problem that exists, couples need to recalibrate the way they talk and discuss their issues and, well, figure out how to fight, well. The 3 topics that couples fight the most often about are surprise, money, sex, and parenting. Differences about priorities in saving or spending money are often a hot topic, as are the frequency and quality of sex, and differing parenting strategies. However, underlying all of these fights are generally an idea that Chambers considers to be flawed. Fairness. Couples, he says, should not worry about fairness as much as they should happiness, because worrying about fairness often leads to resentment, which is relationship napalm. Fatherly spoke to Chambers to identify the common mistakes that couples make while fighting, and how to sidestep them completely in order to fight, well. 1. Big mistake. They criticize their partner as a person. Arguments are likely to go from bad to worse when couples start the conversations by critiquing their partner's value as a human being. There's a difference between a person saying, "My feelings are hurt because you did X, Y, and Z," and, "You do X, Y, and Z all the time." When criticisms toward a partner's behavior become a conversation about that person's overall value, arguments are sure to When criticisms toward a partner's behavior become a conversation about that person's overall value, arguments are sure to blow up and become a much bigger and worse conversation than they need to be. And it leads to defensiveness, another cardinal sin in an argument. The solution: be as specific in your criticism as possible. In order to stop a conversation from being about legitimate critique of a partner's behavior to a comment on their personhood, make sure that all conversations are as specific as possible, and use I statements as much as possible, as in, "I felt hurt when I saw you do this, because X, Y, and Z." The other thing that couples need to keep in mind, per Chambers, is that fairness is not what matters in a relationship. Happiness does. We all have the right to be right, but there's just a very low correlation between being right and being happy. One thing I'm always trying to work with couples on is being able to focus on what is going to be helpful in this moment and what will help them increase their happiness. So, calling your partner a thoughtless person because they forgot to do the dishes before you came home again even though they promised. That could be correct, but it won't make anyone happier. 2. The big mistake: getting defensive. A conversation about relationship problems can go off the rails quickly when one person immediately gets defensive, says Chambers. Sometimes I'll work with couples where, the minute their partner brings up something, they say, "Oh, that's not true." And all of the sudden they're going back and forth debating that. They don't ever get to understanding what the real problem is, and what's behind it all, let alone even getting to a solution, because they disagree with the definition to begin with. That's one of the things that can escalate a conversation to a confrontation, says Chambers. If one person's immediate reaction to a partner bringing up a problem is to disagree that it's even a problem at all, that will almost assuredly lead to a bad and unproductive argument. The solution: display trust in your partner. If someone in the relationship is coming to the other with a problem, it's a natural reaction to try to fight against that problem by thinking it doesn't exist. But that's the wrong way to handle concerns, says Chambers. Start with the assumption that there is some validity to your partner's concerns. Once you can feel that validity, start to embrace curiosity, even if you don't understand the problem. You at least want to be able to approach it through the lens of being curious, rather than being judgmental or critical. That is something that can really help to open up the conversation, and to be able to help and understand each other, in a much better, more nuanced way, he says. 3. The big mistake: they stonewall and invalidate one another. Sometimes, especially when the same argument about money or sex or the kids has happened more than once, couples start what Chambers refers to as stonewalling each other. Stonewalling is incredibly toxic. When your partner is trying to communicate with you,